What's up, everybody? Chad here for your favorite Tuesday show on YouTube, Taco Tuesday. So whether or not you are subscribed to the channel at this point and know about Taco Tuesday, or this is your first time stopping in, this is a weekly episode, if you want to call it that I and Bandit do here on this channel to talk about things going on with our trucks, things going on the channel, our lives, and sometimes news, if there is really anything important to talk about. So speaking of keeping up with things with the channel, this is my first reappearance on the channel in quite some time because I was in Europe for nearly 3 weeks. I was doing a study abroad program and doing some research over there through Virginia Tech. It was a fantastic experience, and there will be a separate video on my time over there, but there's going to obviously be a bit more of a twist to that video where I kind of touch on things that I saw and things that I was able to observe while over in Europe, and be able to kind of compare the lifestyles there to the lifestyle over here when it comes to trucks, SUVs, and vehicles of the like. So you can see that I am kind of dressed not quite to the nines. I don't have a tie on, but I am dressed up. I did just get off of work. It is Monday evening at this point. For those of you that don't know, I do have a internship in Washington, D.C. this summer. So I am pretty busy. I won't be spending a whole lot of time really around Bandit or really any of the other guys that we do spend a lot of time with usually on our summers off. Just because all of us are pretty much working at this point. And this is what I will be doing till probably middle of August, and then before too long after that, then I'll be going right back to school for my final year. So a busy summer. I do still, believe it or not, have quite a bit planned here, even though for the most part I will be here in the capital of the United States. So just keep an eye out for some different content that I have, even though, you know, most of the time we would enjoy being kind of out on the trails or exploring some areas in other states that we just really haven't been to a whole lot, because that's kind of what we do, especially with the off-road club that we're involved with. So right now, instead of doing that, I'll be doing a little bit more mall crawling when I am going and driving around. But in all honesty, I haven't even really found that many parking lots. The only parking lots I find are the ones that I'm about to drive into right now, and this is actually a better day compared to some of the other days that I've been out here driving kind of around Washington, D.C. Most of the time, to get 2 miles, you have to wait 30 minutes to get to that destination, wherever that may be, just because traffic is pretty bad. But I feel like I'm doing pretty good navigating around here. It's definitely a lot different where I'm from. The population is a lot smaller where I'm from, and even where Bandit's from, it's even smaller than where I'm from. So you don't really see too many stoplights, but here they're plentiful, and you don't see too much greenery. I mean, there are trees kind of planted around here, but it's definitely nothing like what we see back home with open fields and pastures and everything like that. But I'm just kind of ranting on at this point. It's just a lot different here in Washington, D.C. But if you all have any suggestions for fun things to go do and see around here, you can definitely leave those in the comments below. I have spent time in Washington, D.C. throughout my life. My family has come here, and we've done little weekend trips because I don't live terribly far, about an hour and a half outside of D.C., but not so close into D.C. that there's the big city feel. Where I'm from, it's not necessarily a big city. But anyhow, now we're going to move on to today's main topic. So today's main topic is going to be talking about our experiences thus far with the TRD air filter. So there were a video or two that we had done about a month or so ago talking about how there was a package that we had gotten from Sparks Parts ordered in. I ordered one for Bandit and myself, so we both do have the same TRD air filter. That is the red colored one, that is actually a bit thinner than the standard Denso air filter that you do have on the stock airbox on our Tacomas. So our experiences thus far, so I'm going to talk about mine first, and then I'll share a little bit of what Bandit's experience was with it. So so far, I feel like there is maybe just a slight bit increase in fuel economy with these bigger tires that are on here. They're the Falcon Wild Peak AT3Ws, and so that is an all-terrain tire. And in all honesty, when I did get those tires, I knew I was going to be sacrificing some fuel economy. But compared to what you would expect with the stock air filter, and then with this newer one that's a little bit thinner, so it's easier for air to pass through, I feel like maybe there's a bit of a increase in fuel economy, possibly. That's all speculative because it's hard to tell, because there are just so many different conditions that we go through driving each day, especially here driving around Washington DC. I am kind of on the highway right now, so it's doing okay on fuel economy, I suppose, as opposed to stop and go traffic. But yeah, so it's a little bit hard to tell, and we can't really accurately calculate that because Bandit and myself aren't on the stock wheel or tire package for either of our trucks. So that's kind of a moot point at this rate. So another thing that we did notice, both of us, is we feel like there might have been just a slight increase in low-end torque, maybe. That might just be kind of a placebo effect, knowing that we put it in there, and the fact that, it has these claims as many aftermarket or upgraded air filters or air boxes say, better horsepower, better fuel economy, better sound, all that stuff. I feel like it depends on your perception of it. So, for instance, these trucks already, you could hear the throttle body kind of sucking in the air just a little bit. It was already kind of a audible sound with this truck, whereas there are some vehicles that you don't hear at all. But when you do get on the gas a little bit, you can definitely hear that throttle body open up and start pulling in the air through the vacuum of the cylinders moving up and down. But I feel like it is just a slight bit more pronounced with this TRD air filter in it, because the filter media is of a different quality material, and it is thinner than the other one. So, like, for instance, the stock Toyota air filter is probably about this thick, and the TRD one is maybe this thick. It's definitely a thinner product that you are putting in there, so that is it makes it easier for the air to pass through. Bandit says that he doesn't really hear all that much of a difference in sound. He thinks maybe just slight increase in fuel economy and maybe even low in torque and horsepower. But aside from that, not really a big difference coming from this filter. It is just kind of one of those things that perhaps Toyota is able to market it and knows that some people would like to upgrade to these TRD branded parts and pieces. Now, of course, if you do go to a TRD air filter and air intake, as well as a TRD exhaust, then maybe you might see some sort of fuel economy or horsepower differences, but it's not a full, straight pipe exhaust. You're not going to take out all of that restriction that is with, the stock exhaust system. But anyhow, not really too much of a difference, but that is just kind of something that we did want to touch on. We've been getting enough road time with these filters and seeing the differences that these have versus the stock one. And as I already outlined, we don't think that there is too much of a difference with this filter. So that is pretty much all that I do have to talk about for this week. There really isn't any news to share from previous weeks because we would have already covered anything that we found to be interesting or really pressing to share with you all. But as far as this summer goes, up until about late August, expect a little bit of a different video schedule, just because with us not being together and able to put these videos together and kind of create different things, I guess, with modifications for our trucks. Those things will still happen, but it's just unsure of what's going to happen as far as when those videos will be made and when they will come out, just because of working full-time over the summer and everything else that we might have going on. Of course, like I said, you will still get Taco Tuesday as usual. different schedule for this summer, just because it's going to be difficult with us both working full time. But definitely expect some stuff. We do have some stuff planned. It's just unsure of when this stuff will happen and fall into place. So just bear with us. Again, if this is your first time stopping by, please consider subscribing to the channel. We did just recently hit 5,000 subscribers within the past 2 or 3 weeks. I believe it was while I was still in Europe that we hit 5,000 subscribers. So big milestone for the channel. It's awesome. You guys are awesome, and we do definitely appreciate all of the views, the likes, shares, and everything that you guys do for us. It's all very fantastic, and we like this YouTube gig. It's pretty fun to do alongside being college students. So thank you all very much for watching. Have a fantastic week, everybody, and we'll catch you next time.